Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorme.com to learn more. And now let's get into today's episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Really pleased that you're here. Lots to dive into today, but first of all, I think before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of an explanation about where I've been and what I have been up to, because it's actually been quite a lot. So, okay, I have been working with the people in the Momentum program. So they started Thursday officially last week, but there was a little bit of a lead up to that in terms of my obligations and responsibilities, which was I had to prepare a lot of stuff. So it took me away from doing things like the podcast and YouTube and stuff like that. But, I want to share with you today a couple of things that I learned and give you some action steps. And then I'm going to go into today's podcast episode topic, which is going to be, of course, super duper helpful. So here's what I learned from our very first 90-day planning session and why it's working. Okay. So as I mentioned, I've been a bit quiet this past week and there's a really good reason for that. I've just been completely immersed in helping all the amazing people who've recently joined the program. So last Thursday, we had our very first 90-day practice planning session. Say that 10 times fast. And wowzers, the energy in the room was incredible. We spent about 4 hours diving deeply into some powerful planning processes. And I was able to share not one, but 2 game-changing strategies that make planning actually stick. Because I don't know about you, but let's be honest, we all love planning, mapping things out, setting our intentions. I buy planners all the time and stickers to go in them, and I really enjoy that process. But then what happens? We don't stick to it, right? So there is a secret to making the plans work. And for the planning session I conducted for the beautiful members, I created a really gorgeous looking 90-day goal spreadsheet that everybody absolutely loved. I think the reason that they liked it was because it is easy to use. Plus, it's really pretty. It's just visually appealing. And most importantly, it's already been helping them to stay accountable and to stay focused, right? So some of the feedback has been, it's really beautiful. It's so easy to use. And 2 people have also asked, can they come along to the second planning workshop, which is happening on the 4th of March, because they enjoyed the first one so much. So I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, who knew that planning could be so popular? But here we are. But what's really making my heart sing about all of this is seeing them put the plans into action. So members are already sharing their progress in our group chat and with me privately. And also I can gently nudge them along when I see that someone's going off down a rabbit hole. Well, how does this relate to what you're actually supposed to be working on? And I'm also really energized by everything because, it's been a matter of real results real fast. The program's only been going for, a week today, actually, officially, but we're already seeing wins. So there was one member that updated her website copy yesterday based on our review together, and she booked a new client in last night. So how amazing is that? So when I woke up this morning, I checked my messages. There was a message from there, telling me how excited she was, saying that she updated the copy and then that night someone booked in. So I quickly contacted her and said, okay, that's fantastic, and shared with her a couple of questions that would get her thinking about business processes and business systems. She replied, and based on her answers, I was able to immediately spot a gap. I shared it with her. She's gone and implemented it, or she will be implementing it today rather, and it will bring in an extra $480 for her this month. So much fun. And I'm really looking forward to getting that message from her, like when it actually happens. So why is it all working? Well, the beauty about Practice Momentum is because it supports everyone exactly where they are. So I've got people who are literally just starting their journey with private practice. There are people in there that are already established practitioners, but they want team growth. So they're looking to recruit, another team member or even their first team member. There are also in the community business owners that are wanting to set up passive income streams. So they're getting my help doing that. And there are also, a bunch of them that need and want accountability and some structure. They are sick of going off down rabbit holes and down tangents, and they just want to be able to say to somebody, what's my next step? What do I do next? And then, of course, we have people like me who are carers balancing, personal responsibilities, but trying to keep the practice alive and breathing in the meantime. So our very first monthly coffee catch up is happening on Thursday next week. So just 7 more sleeps. And I could not be more excited. I have to say, it just fills me up with so much energy. It makes my heart sing watching this beautiful community form and come together and develop, especially because people who felt alone in their business journey, and now you can see it. It's so clear. They're now finding connection. They're getting and giving support. They're going to end up making genuine friendship connections out of this, and also set up referral pathways for themselves. So it's really, really so lovely. But the reason that everyone's getting results so quickly, and this is the key takeaway for you, and I'm going to show you how you can do it too, is that they're actually implementing what they're learning. So for example, they attended the workshop last week, they're doing the work, and now they're already starting to reap rewards. So some action steps for you. There are 5. So first off, set aside some time for intentional planning with built-in accountability. Okay. Number 2, focus on really small targeted changes that can shift the needle quickly in your private practice. Third, connect with others who are on a similar journey, because we all know isolation kills momentum, right? It's so easy to get distracted when you're working alone. 4, implement things quickly. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for perfect timing. Just do it, right? Just get it done. Some action is better than no action, okay? And then, of course, the last thing to do is celebrate your wins, no matter how big or small they are. A win is a win is a win, right? To keep your motivation high. So can you see why I'm feeling so happy and what I'm trying to share with you too? Like, it's just so exciting to see what's possible when you've got support at the moment when you need it, right? When you're surrounded by people who are on similar journeys, and when you have tools in front of you that actually work, or tools at the push of a button that actually work. So that's the real magic as I see it. I truly, on my heart, 100% believe that each and every one of us is capable of achieving, fantastic things. But just sometimes we need the right environment in order to see what we can truly accomplish. So that's what's happening, and that's what's been going on behind the scenes, and that's what's pulled me away from things like the podcasts and stuff like that. It is just so exciting. And there are 10 people in Momentum at the moment. I think I could push it to another 5. If you wanted to come along or you have some questions about it, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help you. So that's what's been going on in my world lately. But now let me talk to you about some of the questions that you've been sharing in our community, the Ultimate Private Practice. It's our free community on Facebook. So if you're not in it yet, feel free to come along and join. For those of you who are, you can easily scroll to the post and see the questions. I'm just going to work through them now in order. So there are a few, and there are some really juicy ones in here as well. This is so much fun. Okay, so somebody's asked, what did you find most challenging in starting or running your private practice? I think this is a great question, and this will be different for everybody, but I'll just share my challenge. When I first started in private practice, it wasn't a challenge at all. And the reason for that was because I was on Medicare. I was working as a psychologist. I was doing a lot of Medicare work, and I was co-located in big medical clinics with other doctors. So I really found it such a breeze. I just would turn up every single day, and there'd be new referrals in my inbox, and my diary would already be full. If somebody cancelled, the receptionist out the front would fill that appointment slot. So I was always busy. I was always working. Never had to market, never had a website, never had a business card, none of that. I literally just would see a medical centre being built, and then I would go over to the builders and I'd find out who was in charge, and then I would write a letter and I would drop it back off at the building site, and I would say, this is for so-and-so, the owner, and in that letter I would say, I'm a psychologist and I'm so excited for this milestone for you and your business, and I would love to, contribute to it. I live locally, I'm part of the community, I'm a psychologist, let me know if it's possible to have a room. And they'll get back to me every single time and give me a room. The other thing that I would do is just go around to other medical centres in my area and see if there was a room available for rent. And yeah, there always was. I don't think I was ever knocked back for a room. So that was the start of private practice for me as a psychologist. However, when I decided to release my registration as a psychologist and move more into counselling, it was like I don't even know the words to say it. I had no clue what on earth was going on, because I no longer had access to referrals from the doctors because I wasn't doing Medicare, for example. I lost all my referrers. All my old clients didn't want to come and work with me because they didn't see why they should suddenly have to start paying for something they'd been getting free. So I had no clients. I had no clue where I was going to get them from. I was under the pump for time and money. I went and got a serviced apartment in Frankston in the Quest building, and I really loved it, and I felt so professional, and I thought it was fantastic. I think it cost me, I don't know, it's going back now 5 or 6 years, but I think at the time it was about $1,100 a month. I had it 5 days a week. I had 24/7 access. It included, some reception, not reception for my practice specifically, but there was reception out there. And yeah, I remember just sort of feeling like so proud of myself for having leased this little serviced apartment, but then thinking, okay, I've made it all pretty and it looks amazing, but what am I going to do now? I don't have any clients. And then it was, baptism of fire, that's the word. So I was scrambling. I had no idea what I was doing. And because I didn't have any idea, I was totally clueless. I went into online Facebook groups and I started asking other people, well, what do you do? Like, how do you get the clients? And it was probably the worst thing I could have done because, and you've probably heard this story from me a million times before, but for new listeners, I'll just be super quick. I ended up taking on board the advice that people were giving me in those communities and going away and trying to do it, and it just made things 10 times worse. I didn't realize at the time that people were giving advice out of the goodness of their heart. They really wanted to see me succeed. They were trying to help me out, but they were clueless themselves about marketing. I know that now. And also, there was something else I was going to say, but I've just forgotten it. Doesn't matter. So anyway, it was just a space of me being in sheer and utter panic. And the reason for that too was because I had a mortgage, I had car repayments, all of this, and they were due like in a couple of weeks. And I didn't really have much savings, right? So I was panicking. What I ended up doing was I did a business retreat, and then because I just got to the point of like, I'm going to have to go and work at Bunnings if I don't turn this around quick smart. At the time, somebody was advertising a business retreat. I think back then it was $1,000 and it was 3 days, 2 nights and 3 days or something. And I just thought, stuff it. So I put it on the credit card and I went, and I made sure that I took plenty of notes, that I implemented everything, and I just worked my little butt off. It was mostly implementation, all those things I was learning. I was so thankful that there was somebody there to say, try this, do that, don't do that, So when I came back, it was a lot of implementation. But it took me probably 3 to 4 weeks before the diary was fully booked. But I was working like crazy, as I said, implementing strategies. Now, a lot of the things I learned back then don't really apply now, and there are new ways and better ways now. But it was that experience of being like in hot water financially and not knowing what I was doing, and getting advice that didn't really work, that actually made things worse, that made me so passionate about making sure that other private practice owners didn't end up in that position, right? I never want anyone to go and register a business name, a logo, get a website, go and rent a room, and then sit there to crickets and have a panic attack like I did, because it is scary, it's stressful, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you're obsessing about it all the time, you don't know what else to do, so you just keep doing the same things you've been doing and you hope that it's going to work. Then you get angry, then you want to start blaming people for why things aren't working, and you lose confidence, you lose belief in yourself, you start to think it's not going to work. You question everything. And you get to the point where you start to think, maybe I need to go on Seek and start to look for some part-time work to keep me afloat financially, because you really doubt your ability to do this. And then, of course, imposter syndrome rears its ugly head, and that makes everything 10 times worse. And then you feel shame, humiliation, embarrassment, and then you don't want to ask anyone for help. So you start withdrawing from, things like online spaces and support groups and stuff like that for therapists. So I get it, because that was me too, but you don't have to do that. There's no reason at all that you have to do that. So for me, as I said, to answer your question, it took between 3 and 4 weeks to get to fully booked. And fully booked for me was between 8 and 10 appointments a day, 5 days a week, and sometimes on a Saturday morning. So if I can do it, you can do it. I also teach how to do it. And you just heard, like, there are already people in Momentum that are getting clients. And, this person who shared that story, she's only been in it for 3 days and she already got a client, right? So there's help out there. You have to be willing to get the help. My issue was I didn't know that there were people who could help, but that's not your issue. You do know that there are people that can help. And, it's becoming more and more, reduced stigma. What's the word? Acceptable, okay, to go and get business help. All right. So hopefully that helps, but everybody's journey is going to be different. The thing that will make it shorter for you, you can fill your diary quicker, is 2 things. Number 1, your marketing. You must market 90 days before you open the business, okay? Don't do what I did, open the business and then have a panic attack. Market for 90 days before. The reason we say 90 days is because that's what a business cycle is. So we want to do that. That way, when it comes time for you to, go down to the rooms, you've actually got people in the books that week. All right. You can pay your bills. You're going to be just fine. So that will be the first thing. The second thing, do a business plan. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you do need one. Otherwise, you're just going to be winging it, and you'll go from, week to week to week to week to week, and you'll just kind of stagnate. You'll just hit a lull, and that'll be it. But really, what you want to be doing is creating sustainability, and we do that through planning for growth. So there's that. The other thing is get skilled up in running the business, because we all know that we're each of us capable of helping people in our profession, in our chosen career and discipline. That's not the issue. But what makes you a good therapist doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be good at business, especially if you've never done any business training for private practice, okay? And especially if you've never done any training or course in how to market a private practice. That's why this is so important, okay? So you shorten the time by learning those skills. Can you still fill a diary quickly without doing a course on, the business side of private practice, or without doing a course on the marketing side of private practice, or without getting private practice coaching? Yeah, you can. It would really depend on, factors like where you're located, what your niche is, what your specialty is, your networks, how good you are at setting up referral pathways, all those kinds of things. So some people can do it really quickly, but most people, it will take them time. So everybody's journey is different, and yours will be different again. But as I said, you can shorten it with skills and knowledge. The next question was, do you find more success in people who hire a room, so I guess doing in person, rather than doing online sessions? Or is it all dependent on your marketing? Well, the statistics that show that online telehealth is preferred by clients over in person. Now, again, this is just data, and it's just research, and it's just a statistic, and I'm sure it's not going to apply to all niches and all private practices, but for the most part, the data shows that since COVID happened and everyone went online, the preference for clients is online most of the time. So I really believe that it's a combination of doing what works best for you and your niche and your marketing. Okay, marketing is so important. I would recommend maybe even having a hybrid model. If you're just starting out in private practice, I would start online first, build it up until you had cash flow and you had predictability with the money, and you're able to say with confidence, this is how much the business makes each week or each month, therefore this is what I can afford for a room, and then expand out to having a room. So start with online, then offer hybrid. That will be my approach. But the success really depends on what is going to resonate most with your niche and the marketing. Okay. The next person said, do you feel that other services offered within the business, for context, I run meditation classes, take away from the professional nature of the counselling services? My original thought was that I could continue offering these as a lead generator into counselling, but I'm wondering if it takes away from my core service. Okay. So the guidance here is generally we want to always let clients know exactly what they're signing up for. So I would have your counselling separate to the, I would have the counselling separate to the other service, to the meditation service. And then if you wanted to, you could absolutely use the meditation as a lead generator over to counselling, but you could also use the counselling as a lead generator over to the meditation. So both services build the business. So you can absolutely do that. Just keep them nice and separate, and you'll be just fine. Okay, clarity is key here. We don't want to muddy the waters and confuse anybody. For that reason, again, keeping them separate. It would also look like separate intake forms, all of that sort of stuff. The next person said, has anyone had great success in running a telehealth branch of their counselling or psychology business, as in 20 plus clients per week via telehealth? And if so, how do you find the clients willing to do this? I want to hire a psychologist via telehealth and have her work 3 full days. So great question. Yes, it's totally possible. There are solo practitioners as well as group private practices that offer telehealth, online counselling and psychology services to clients. The way to find the clients that are willing to do it is just in your marketing. Most clients are very receptive to telehealth. As I said a moment ago, it will just come back to your counselling. So really speaking into the features and benefits of online. So I know for myself, after we all came back after COVID, I was saying to my clients, do you want to go back face to face? But they were just used to being online and they found it more convenient. But that worked for my clients. So my clients at the time were people who were full-time employed. So it worked for them to have online because they could do it in their lunch break, or they could do it while they were sitting in the car before work or after work, rather than having to come home, deal with dinner and children, take time away from their family, sit in the spare bedroom and try and have a session. But it also worked for parents and caregivers because it meant they didn't have to occupy siblings of people out in reception while I was talking to the client. So I think that it's absolutely possible. There's a lot of practices who are doing it. There's no reason you couldn't do it. Just make sure you've got really good marketing. Okay. And then somebody else was saying, I'm a nutritionist / naturopath and newly accredited counsellor. I'm wanting to combine my nutrition with counselling as I feel they go hand in hand. Would you suggest a combined consult with intake form to reflect both modalities, or would you separate the initial consults altogether? I'm getting conflicting advice, would love some clarity. So, I think this is amazing. Well done on the accreditation. So there are a few different schools of thought. I would say keep them separate, keep counselling over there, nutrition over there, separate intake forms for both. Use both of them as lead generators into each other to help build the practice and develop sustainability. And if you wanted to, have a third offering there, which could be nutritional counselling, and promote that as something that integrates both modalities. So that is the podcast episode for today. Thank you so much for being part of my world. If you're interested in coming along to Practice Momentum, please let me know. You can send me an email, support@brooklynstorme.com. Leave a comment in the comment section below, or reach out to me on social media. It's just Brooklyn Storme. Okay, bye for now. Have a great week. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.